What's up guys, this is LBT from Combat Culture, and today we've got a really cool video. What we're going to cover are some of the main things to know if you guys are thinking to compete. And with us is a special guest, Kru Rob. Welcome back, Kru Rob.
Great to be back, Albie.
So Kru Rob, you've been training fighters for about 15 years now, right?
I've owned my own school now for the last almost 10 years, but was able to train a few of the other fighters under other gyms as an assistant coach.
What do I need to know before I even consider a fighter?
Most of the people that actually start, that have their first fight or their first amateur fight or their first smoker, they didn't even think about this as a goal, most people. And really what the goal for most of them was, hey, this is something new, I want to give it a try. As their level of experience progresses, then it gets to the point where it's so inclined to actually want to try to compete and try to use that knowledge, then at that point it's kind of like, all right, I think I'm ready to compete. The coach should pretty much have a good idea about that beforehand or like right at the same time when the realization is made on both ends.
I come to a realization, I mean, what's a good way to bring that to your coach's attention?
So one way is actually watching all the students, right? So watching all the students and what we're looking for is that person that's gotten to the point where they could be ready for their first amateur or for their first smoker.
What's training like if I want to be a fighter?
So the level of training is going to be a little bit different for each different type of scenario. So you've got guys that will do smokers, or these interclubs is another name for them. It's a sanctioned bout or a fight between two people from two different gyms, but it's with full gear and it doesn't count as a real fight with a record. It's meant to be like almost like an exhibition in the sense where they show their level of expertise, but they train for it like it's going to be a real fight without all the danger that's involved, in the sense that full gear, if it gets out of control, then or if it gets the level of intensity gets really, really high, the referee in the ring will break it down and stop. Because the whole point is so that the two people that are in the ring can show their level of expertise or their level of knowledge of Muay Thai. The training for that can be a little bit different depending on the school, as opposed to the training for like your first amateur fight, right? So that there's a whole lot of preparation for that. And then the same thing for a pro fight.
And before we get into what your expectations are, right? In training for a fight, say me as someone that does Muay Thai, how do I know when I'm ready to compete?
Good question. Sometimes you'll know, sometimes you won't. It's really going to be you and your coach. The thing is that you doing all the work, you being able to have that dedication, knowing and listening for instructions, doing the work, getting better at it, taking all the classes that you can, or all the training and all the sparring rounds and doing all this work, that's going to actually directly reflect the level of engagement that you want to do at the next level. The one thing also is that nobody really talks about is your level of control working with your other partners. Meaning, if you're really that good, or you've gotten really that better, your timing is better, your strength is better, you know when to pull a punch, like when somebody's timing is a little bit less than yours, and knowing when to not hurt them so hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of going back to our previous question is let's just say we are training for a competition, right? Okay. And let's just say it's a smoker or an amateur. What are some general expectations in terms of the type of commitment I'll have to do for the training?
Okay, you're getting ready for an amateur fight. It varies from gym to gym. It's 6 to 8 weeks out, generally speaking. And again, the training regimen is going to differ and vary from gym to gym. But pretty much it's going to be all of your classes that you normally take, plus all of the special training that you're going to have with your coach, meaning paddle training sessions, and then all the training sessions that you're going to do outside of the gym that's going to be relevant, like running, right? This is actually very, very important. Just a few other things, just making sure that you're in the mindset, sacrifice. Sacrifice what? Well, you're going to be here probably twice as many more times in the gym training, right, for this upcoming event, because you don't want to go there to lose, right? You want to put on a show. You want to show that everything that you're doing, everything you're working for, you want to put that all on display at the event. You're going to sacrifice a lot of other things. That movie that you wanted to see with your buddies over the weekend, well, nope, you're not going to be there, because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be working out, you're going to be training, you're going to be running, You're gonna be doing all those things. And then making weight, that's the other thing. You know, your girlfriend's birthday is coming up. There's supposed to be a big party at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Guess what? You're not gonna be there because you have to make weight, right? So there are all these different things that you have to consider. And that's the part where sacrifice and discipline come into effect.
Is running really that important? Do I have to run?
Good question. So the way that I was brought up regarding this is that running is a good supplement for you. Not only does it help you maintain and drop the weight, that if you need to go into, you need to get to a certain weight class, it also helps maintain and elevate your endurance, your levels through cardio. It also helps keep your metabolism burning, so meaning your metabolism high. Having said all that, if you're a seasoned fighter, if you're a seasoned professional, the running and the other cardio work won't be that much of a discipline factor as part of your training. It won't be, because again, at that point, as a professional, you should already know what weight that you should be at. You should already know when, what the time is that you need to drop certain weight. You should know all these things. You should already be doing 20, 30, 40 rounds as a professional. So now the running part, that's there to enhance you. But as far as an amateur is concerned, you should be running all the time. And that's just my thoughts on this.
And Kru Rob, I guess, we touched on the discussion of weight, but who decides our fight weight?
This is actually good. So that's usually on the discretion of the coach, again, with the actual fighter, and what the goals are, what you as the fighter and the coach think that you can realistically make as far as weight is concerned. My thoughts on this are, you shouldn't drop 20, 30, 40 pounds. I mean, that's very extreme. There are a lot of professionals that actually do that, but again, the word there is professionals. They do this for a living. And you should also remember that dropping weight, an extreme amount of weight, and then putting it back on is also very detrimental to your health as well.
Is it expected that my coach is going to work with me and do pad work with me?
Depending on the size of your school, if it's an academy, it's 500 plus some students. There are layers of coaches that support the main instructor or the head instructors. It will depend. It's especially for your first fight out, it'll probably be whoever your coach is that's teaching all of your classes. Now, if you're in a very large academy, chances are it'll probably be your coach and not really the actual owners. It's a good question to ask. It's something that you should be aware of and that you should find out. But here's the other gem for this. The person that's working with you the most, that's the person that should be in your corner. That's the person that should be helping you. The one that's holding pads for you all the time, the one that's giving you instruction, the one that's giving you the strategy of what to do when you're sparring, the one that's watching you when you're doing that. That person, if anything, right? If he's not even the head coach, that person should be in your corner with you.
Should I expect to pay anything extra?
So pay anything extra in terms of?
Just getting the extra work with the coaches or the team members that are committing to me.
Now, some gyms don't charge for additional pad holding, which is what you will have to do. You're not going to learn any new strategy by just doing all the classes or going to all the advanced classes. No, you have to have one-on-one pad work with one of the head instructors, going over strategy, strategy that works for you, strategy that will work for you in that sense, like your timing, your style, your weight, your height. You have to get specialized training. And sometimes some coaches, they will charge an extra fee for that. Now, again, this is something that you should find out in the beginning, because it should be transparent to you, hey, I want to fight, but what kind of additional pad work do I need to have, and is that going to cost me extra? Yeah, you should find that out, absolutely. As an amateur, you're expected to pay for everything. It's as simple as that. When I say pay for everything, what does that mean? That means sometimes sanctioning bodies for the promotion, they may have a fighter's fee, right? Even the coaches at one point, I remember at one point we had to pay a coaching fee, right? So, we're going to have to dish that out also. Now, just always expect that you're going to have to pay for something. Out of the goodness of your coach's heart, they may actually pick up that expense, right? If you're going to go to a tournament that's going to be hosted in another state, there's going to be travel expenses. So you're going to have to figure out, do I have enough money for this? I need to talk to my coach. What's going on here? How much is this going to cost? Right? If you're going to go do a tournament, right? Or you're going to travel out of state for your first fight. Who's going to pay for the airfare? Who's going to pay for your room and board? Who's going to pay for your walk around money? So there were things that I had to pay for as an amateur. And then there are times when my coach would actually pick up some of those expenses for me. And I do have to thank him for that, because had he not done that, I would not have been able to experience a lot of the different opportunities that I got a chance to experience.
What is the general feeling on training at multiple gyms when I'm getting ready for a fight?
Oh, yeah, it is very controversial. So again, this depends. Is this your first fight? Are you already established as a fighter? Are you a professional? Generally speaking, if you have your fight already locked down, you should already have that locked down with the name of your gym, right? So your name tied with the gym, and then whoever the coach is that's from that gym training you. For the most part, you should really be just with that one gym, training with that one coach, right? It becomes very, very difficult when you start traveling to different places, especially if your name is already associated with one gym. It becomes difficult in the sense of the communication. Who's the main coach, and what kind of instruction is he giving me? Well, you should be here training with your group as far as like sparring is concerned, but you're actually over at this other place, and you're picking up knowledge and strategy from a different coach. So everyone is pretty much an adult as far as like where you're training and what you're doing. You just have to remember that you need to be consistent with how your training regimen is, who you're training with, as far as where you're getting your training from. That's pretty much it. Now, if you're going to be training at different places, so be it. That's something that you have to decide through with your coach. My opinion on that, it's best that you should always be in direct communication with your coach during the training process, during fight camp, and you should be in one spot, and that's at your gym. If you feel the need to be in different places, that's something that you need to have a discussion with your coach, and then like a self-awareness thing for yourself, like what do you want to do?
What has been the hardest part, for your fighters in terms of their fight camps?
It's just the anxiety. Try to contain the anxiety. Now that could be good anxiety, bad anxiety. It's just having that anxiousness, the nervousness about upcoming fight. That affects everybody. That's from your first smoker to your first amateur fight to your first pro fight to being a seasoned fighter, and then it goes the same with the coach as well. Coach gets the jitters as well too. Myself, I get the jitters as well. It's like you have these moments in your head where you're do we make the right matchup? Is this the correct weight? Is the athlete on point? Is he training properly? And that's pretty much the more difficult aspect of the fight game that I've seen. It's just that little bit of anxiety. I mean, the discipline is there. The training, the sacrifice, the guys that want to do it, they want to be here, right? They want to be in the fight, so they're there. It's always just that little piece of nervousness, right? So and that's normal, that's human.
What have you observed that has been the most important part of training in fight camp?
So I think the most important that I've seen is just the way that a person finds themselves during the whole process, during the whole journey of getting ready, prepping for that fight, and then going through the whole fight, the actual fight, and then the moment afterward. And it's like, what did they learn? And it could be anything. Now again, not everybody is a winner. Everybody can win. Everybody would like to win. Sometimes people lose. Again, it's like, what did you take away from all of this? That's the more important thing. You had the courage to want to do this and take it upon yourself for 6 to 8 weeks of hard training, dieting, running, sacrifice, discipline, to get up to that 6 minutes of work that you got to do. And then regardless of the outcome, you get it done, hopefully no injuries, no major injuries, and then you can sit back and you can think, I did it. Do you feel like you've accomplished something a lot, like a big thing? Do you feel like there's more that you can do? I think there is a level of satisfaction from a lot of the guys and the women that I've trained in the past. They did it. They did something they could cross off that not everybody's able to do.
Well guys, hopefully from this video you guys will have some takeaways if you guys are thinking about competing. I want to thank Kru Rob again for joining us. Kru Rob, where can we find you?
So you guys can find us Square Circle, New York. We are in Lower Manhattan, right on Fulton Street. Cross street is NASA Street.
If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like and subscribe button. We are gonna put Kru Rob and Squared Circle's Insta handles on the bottom. Make sure to give them a follow. Give us a follow as well. We'll be coming out with more content, but until then, keep training, stay safe, and be healthy.